Simple, repeatable, and something that can last for a very long time without the need for keeping my muscles and my flexibility in supreme shape going into my older age. That is what I'm going to build my swing on. Let's get started. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Golf Test Dummy, the channel where I use my game to help your game. I know that you've probably heard it 1,000 times, but I'm going to say it one more time, and then I promise I won't say it again for at least another year. But Happy New Year to everybody out there. This is the second video of 2023. This year marks the beginning of my own personal journey to try and find my swing that's already kind of inside of me. And as I said, it's going to have a lot of influence from many different instructors that I've seen and heard from throughout the years, some of which I've even worked with in the past. I want to try and find a very simple, repeatable swing that's going to last a lifetime, and it doesn't rely on big muscles and lots of flexibility, things that are going to fade as we get older. I want to be able to play this game for as long as possible. I can never hit enough golf balls in my life, and I think there's a lot of you guys out there that are just like me and you feel the exact same way. So we want to be able to play golf forever. I want to take a lot of the dynamics that are involved in much of the modern instruction that is being given to professional golfers out of the equation for me, as I feel that they're playing a different game than we're playing, quite honestly, and some of them are younger. Now, the Champions Tour guys, they were built back in the day before a lot of this modern instruction took place. I want to try and avoid injury, and I want to try and avoid pain. Also, I've got lots of pains and chronic sort of things that go on with me anyway, and I think a lot of you out there are like that. I think this is going to be very relatable because maybe you're not in peak physical condition. I know I'm not, and I know that some of us out there have some limited mobility, some ailments, and some things that prevent us from being able to be Joaquin Neiman or Wilco Nienauber or some other weird name that's out on tour that twist themselves into high-speed pretzels. And hey, not for nothing, down in the description below, there's lots of links and things in there for you to be able to support the channel and support me going forward in my journey, as well as save yourself a little bit of money and get some really good products out there. So check those out, and also be sure to leave me some comments down below. What would be in your golf swing? What do you think are the foundational blocks, the cornerstones of what a good, long-lasting, dependable, and simple swing should be? Also, give this video a thumbs up. Thanks. You know, I've gone through lots of drills over the years in trying to get something to be in a certain position or get the club or my body to act a certain way at different times at key components, and lots of instructors are giving you tons of drills. I mean, there is a galaxy of drills on YouTube to try, and many of them are the same, or at least they have the same sort of goals and end games in mind. And in going through those drills, I think some of the best drills don't really involve full swings. They involve partial swings, or they involve your short game, your chipping and your pitching. And one of the drills that really has shown me quite a bit and proven that you don't have to try and muscle the golf swing is the feet together drill, or the pelican drill. And it works really well with short shots, sort of that L to L position, you know, about waist high to waist high. And I think I've spent a lot of my golfing time trying to muscle and force the club into certain positions rather than going with the momentum. So one of the big cornerstones, one of the big principles that I want to base my swing going forward on is to not muscle the club and to try and use gravity and momentum to allow things to happen rather than try to make things happen. So the 1 foot pelican drill, you just put 1 foot forward. You can do either foot. You can do right or you can do left. I like the left. And then you put the right back on the ground to where, you know, it's kind of some stability. It really acts more like a rudder. You're not putting any weight on it. All your weight is on the foot that you have forward. But when you get set up for this, you might have to move your ball position relative to your body a little bit to get it to work out. But if you just start out making some sort of hip high to hip high swings, you can't make violent moves. You can't try to force your swing to do anything other than use gravity and momentum and timing and a little bit of hand-eye coordination. You can't do anything but that, or else you'll fall off balance. And really, the goal is to be able to hit a good solid shot and maintain your balance, not fall over or have to hop around to prevent yourself from falling over. But just go waist high to waist high, just like that. And I pulled that because I feel like when I got back here, I actually tried to speed it up. So it teaches you. It teaches you. And when you don't hit a solid shot, or when you have a shot that goes a different direction, you've got feedback from this drill to let you know what you did. I got back here and tried to force it back down through and start the downswing too early. So let's give it a little beat at the back and see. Oh yeah, much better. Straight down the line, really good contact, and I kept my balance throughout. That is much better. So instantly this drill becomes a teacher. And as I said, I want a swing that's going to last for a lifetime. So some of the main components in that is going to be using gravity and momentum and having a little bit of patience. If I've heard something from multiple coaches that I trust and that I have faith in, it tends to carry a little more weight if I've heard it from multiple places. And one of the things that I've heard in multiple places throughout golf is that golf is a hand-eye coordination sport. And as we age, the muscles in our back, our leg muscles, our flexibility, those things will tend to go away. However, your hands and your hand-eye coordination, even though it will decline over time, will be pretty reliable for most of your life. And the hands are the only thing that are connected to the golf club. Whether we know it or not, many people's success or failure with the golf swing and golf in general, their entire golf game, relies heavily on their hand-eye coordination. Is it good? Is it bad? You play this game with your hands. Marcus Edblad has talked about it being with your hands. Mike Malaska has definitely talked about the game being played with your hands. There's also a little known coach in Canada that I've talked about many times in the past named Ron Sisson, who talks about golf being a hand-eye coordination sport, and that being able to just put in the time and the practice, you learn to develop the skills necessary to pass the sweet spot of the golf club through the golf ball. Okay, a ghost just hit a shot on the simulator, but that's another thing that I'm going to have to incorporate is the hand-eye coordination. And when you do that, I feel like this drill and just starting small, you're really working on developing it. So if I go kind of just into, I don't know, like a half swing setup, I'm not going to put my feet too wide apart. And again, I'm just going to think about making that waist high to waist high sort of L to L swing. I really want to think about my hands being the smart part of my swing. They're the brains. They get all the feedback, they control the club, and they can also dictate the speed and the timing and everything else that take place with my body in the swing. So I really want to be in tune with my hands. There's another straight shot, and it just feels, I get the feedback comes back through your hands, up through the shaft, and courses through your body. It enters here. Then everything that you want to happen to the club exits out of your hands and into the club. It's this two-way sort of alternating current between you and the club, and this, your hands, they are the plug and socket. I definitely want to keep my swing simple. I do not want it to get complicated. And one way that myself and I feel a lot of us out there complicate the golf swing is when those hands get sort of away and out of control and they don't stay centered with us. Now, obviously your hands during the swing, when you make a swing, obviously they're not always going to be in front of you. When you get back here and you get back to the top, my hands are not in front of me, but they are still kind of in front of my chest unless I go too far and I'm way back here. And to me, I've always had a problem with over swinging and taking the club way back here and getting out of position. So I really want to focus on trying to stay centered. It's really going to be hard for me to get too out of control and lose it and get stuck or anything like that if I keep my hands pretty central to my chest or my core, even my stomach down here. If I keep my hands more centered with me as I go back and through, it's going to be really hard to make it complicated and to get lost. So one of the things that I've also been working on incorporating is to try and not take the club back any further than I feel like I'm still in front of myself. When you turn, one of the big issues with golf is that things kind of get a little bit out of whack. You lose a little bit of calibration because you're moving. So it's easy to think, well, the club just needs to come back here over my shoulder. When you're standing static, you think, well, I just need it to be right here. But if I put it right here and then I turn, I'm way across the line. There's the club because I've moved. So it's a dynamic series of movements, and trying to use frames of reference that are going to be moving in relation to each other is going to make the swing very difficult. But if I know my chest is going to be rotating back, squaring up, and then through again, and I keep my hands, or try or feel as though I keep my hands in front of my chest, my frame of reference has never changed. So in that sense, I'm really kind of taking the arms and giving them, I guess, almost a more passive role. I'll do a half swing here, and I'll try to keep my hands to where they feel like they're in front of my torso throughout the entire swing. And then from that sense, I just need to rotate through. Well, it didn't register, but that was a well-struck shot, and it probably would have gone straight in about 387 yards. But if you keep your hands in front of your body and you stay connected, you hear connected all the time. A lot of people talk about connection with trying to pin your arms against your rib cage. Trust me, I have been injured doing that very thing last year, and it took me several weeks to get past a pulled muscle in my chest. But connected in the sense that these two, your hands and your core and your torso, they're going to kind of stay linked up the entire time, and you just rotate back and through a little bit. All right, last one, and this one is a biggie, and then I'm going to wrap this video up, and I'll continue to go through more in the coming weeks. We'll have plenty more. I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear some questions. Whatever you've got to say, leave it down in the comment below. And by the way, give this video a thumbs up. I think I might have said that already. Anyway, give it a thumbs up. But this is the last thing I want to talk about today, and then we'll get into more as the videos and the weeks and the months go on. But I really need my effort levels to go down. One thing I said earlier in the video is that I've always tried to muscle the club into position, and I've always tried to force my will upon it. And when you do that, you get tension, you get soreness, you increase your chances for injury, and you also usually hit some pretty bad or pretty inconsistent golf shots. So I want my effort levels to take a nosedive, not to where I'm just sloppy and lazy and just kind of throwing the club at it. No, but I need to feel like I get effortless power. And through that, I'm going to have to wait and have good timing and just try not to create speed. Because I think that with a lot of the speed that we feel is so important today, and it is crucially important, don't get me wrong, and I need speed on certain things, but I think when we try to create speed, we often go about it the wrong way instead of just trusting that the weight of this club and gravity and momentum are going to help develop that speed naturally, and it's going to be effortless. You're going to feel like you do a third of the work, but you get 90 to 95% of the output. So when I say effortless, I want to be relaxed. I have a problem a lot of times when I try to swing down, my shoulders come up, and you can tell that the effort and the hit is really coming in there. So I'm trying to keep my shoulders more relaxed throughout the swing. I'm trying to make sure that I stay flexible and fluid and give it a little time. When I get to the top now, I try and take a beat, just a half a beat, and then let the club fall. The arms fall on the downswing and go through to the finish. So we'll just make sort of a little half swing here. And that is just effortless. It's just effortless. That's not even close to a full swing. I barely put anything into that. It's 100 yards right there. And it just, I feel like I was very relaxed and very smooth. And that is going to be yet another cornerstone. It's got to be effortless. I have to put in less effort because it's so much work to fight this club and to fight the course day in and day out, week after week after week. It just wears you down, and it can cause some serious ailments and some serious injuries. Guys, that's going to wrap it up for this week. As I said, I've got plenty more coming. I've got some thoughts on the hands and arms. I've been experimenting quite a bit with some different things, and I've found some really interesting stuff, and I feel like I am making some serious progress. I'm not too worried about how I look or if my swing is going to look like one of the guys on tour. That is not my goal. My goal is to play better golf and score well and have a very consistent golf swing. So I think in the coming weeks and months, you're going to see that. It should be some very good content. And if I fall on my face, hey, at least you'll get a good laugh out of it. But I think I'm seriously building some skills just in the early days and early weeks here. So I'm really excited. Until next time, take care.